Hey, yo. Hey, everyone. Andrew here, bringing you another video review. Barely awake. Dude, I gotta stop doing what I'm doing. I stayed up late last night till 12 o'clock playing Dungeons and Dragons on Roll20, and then I stayed up an extra hour longer to talk to guys after D&D and or to watch a video or two on YouTube, only to wake up at 5 o'clock to go to the gym. Not good. But we're not talking about my inability to manage my hours and my day to day operations. Today we're talking about Wonder Woman 1984, or basically just Wonder Woman 84. And this was a movie that I was somewhat excited for because Wonder Woman is in my top three for my favorite superheroes of all time. And I did thoroughly enjoy the first film, regardless of whatever faults it had. But after watching this film, I saw a lot of negative criticism online, and I'm not sure if I agree with all of it. Mind you, I do have criticisms of the movies, but I don't think it's the ones that people have. Now, we'll jump all into that in a little bit, but what I found most fascinating about Wonder Woman 84 is the fact that this movie is really one of the first movies that HBO is pushing out for basically day to day release with the theaters. So you have it on HBO Max if you have HBO Max, but you also get it in theaters, which I think is incredibly interesting. And I'm very, very torn on this business model. On one end, for someone like me who barely has enough time to get out of the house to go to the gym, because I have to do it at 5 in the morning because, kids and life, it kind of works out because it's convenient. But I'm really worried about exactly what will happen to the movie theaters and the movie going experience. Maybe it's just a natural evolution, and it's sad to see that this evolution has to happen, but it has to. Who knows? But we'll talk about that at another point. Let's just talk about Wonder Woman 1984. So I can assume that everyone here has either seen the film or knows mostly about the film because I'm going to be spoiling stuff. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to spoil, but basic plot of the story is that it is 1984. It's been several decades since the first movie. Wonder Woman is a curator at a museum. She meets Barbara Minerva. They quickly become friends, but they come across an old artifact, basically a stone, that if you make a wish with the stone grants that wish, but it takes something from you. So, spoiler, Wonder Woman haphazardly makes a wish to bring Stephen Trevor back to life, not knowing that this would actually come true. And it does. And in doing so, it takes away her powers. Barbara Minerva makes a wish to be more like Wonder Woman, but in doing so, she loses all this good that basically makes her good. And then Maxwell Lord decides to make the wish to make himself the wishing item. However, it slowly takes his health. However, he then makes wishes with other people to take their health and to take their money and to take their assets. So that's the basic gist of it. Wonder Woman needs to find a way to defeat Maxwell Lord while also combat with the fact that Barbara Minerva is slowly turning into what will eventually be the cheetah. Now, for the most part, a lot of people have been having criticisms on this film. Some people have been having criticisms on Wonder Woman about how she had sex with Stephen Trevor, who was actually possessing the body of another guy. So, thus, she's technically raping the other guy. But then Patty Jenkins says that the wish is taken back, so it doesn't actually happen or count. And then, in addition to that, a lot of people are pissed off because this sounds like super hyper liberalism because Maxwell Lord is like the Donald Trump of the story. Let me clarify a few things. First and foremost, as a comic historian and a major comic book fan, flat out, straightforward, they're not trying to make a jab at Donald Trump, or at least they're doing a terrible job at it. Maxwell Lord has always been a corrupt businessman, and his original inception back in the 1980s with the Justice League International, he starts off as kind of like an anti Bruce Wayne, a powerful, wealthy individual who is at his heart a good person, but ultimately is a snobby, cutthroat businessman who uses the Justice League as a way to promote himself and to make more money. Eventually, we find out that he has superpowers. He goes a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and he starts killing people. But putting all that aside, the original inception of Maxwell Lord is the sly 80s businessman, which unfortunately tends to be related to Donald Trump. Now, I'm not going to bring politics into this, whether you're for Trump or against Trump, if you're liberal, conservative, because I fucking can't stand politics right now. Trust me, I have my own thoughts and opinions on every subject that goes on, but I'm just kind of fucking over it. There's too much ignorance that goes between everyone that basically the smallest thing is going to light people on fire about anything. So we don't talk about politics here. Is just a terrible idea. But to say that Maxwell Lord is an allegory for Donald Trump is pushing it a bit. Are there similarities, mind you? Yes. Is it convenient that Maxwell Lord is being used while Donald Trump is in office? Yes. But in all fairness, Maxwell Lord is also one of Wonder Woman's biggest villains. In an indirect sense, Maxwell Lord really became more of a Wonder Woman's villain after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, or the Infinite Crisis, where Wonder Woman had to snap his neck. It wasn't really even the Infinite Crisis, it was the countdown to Infinite Crisis, the OMAC project. But regardless, he's kind of always been a thorn in Wonder Woman's side in the past 15, 20 years. So to say that it is a direct, like, it's like if there was a psychopath on the loose killing people, acting like a clown, and then Joker is suddenly in the next Batman film. Joker is one of Batman's main villains. Maxwell Lord is one of the main antagonists for Wonder Woman. He's actually being featured right now in Wonder Woman's comic, which is, of course, probably because of the movie. But on a whole, I had no problem with Maxwell Lord. I didn't think he was any political statement. I didn't think he was written bad. I think that for the most part, The Mandalorian played him very well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Pedro Pascal, I know who he is. Just like calling him the Mandalorian because he's such a fucking cutie patootie. But on a whole, I had no problem with Maxwell Lord. And I think that general concept of fucking the whole political stuff is just absolutely stupid. Enjoy the fucking film. Second problem people had is the supposed non-consent sex that Wonder Woman had with this individual. And this is not something I really took too much to heart. I guess if you really want to argue it, you could. But if you also want to look at the science, which isn't really science of it all, she was having sex with Stephen Trevor. Everyone saw the guy, but Wonder Woman saw Stephen Trevor. So there's a theory on whether or not it was actually the body of the guy that she was sleeping with. I think it was, but it's a fucking gray area to say the least. Either way, my problem is not with that, but my problem is with basically Wonder Woman pining over Stephen Trevor for how many years? I think it's just fucking hilarious that Wonder Woman, who, mind you, as a character, does believe in love, but doesn't make it one of her primary focuses, fucking just holds a candle for Stephen Trevor for how many years? It's the 80s, and it was so at least over 50 years. And she's holding a candle for this motherfucker, and she didn't find anyone else. First of all, Wonder Woman probably wouldn't, being immortal, probably wouldn't really need to rush to settle down with anyone, especially someone that is in fact mortal. Because if anyone knows anything about immortals, they fucking just they take their time with everything. That's why elves in Dungeons and Dragons are probably one of the fucking laziest classes in the world, and they never get any races because they never get anything done because they're just slow to do it. Where fucking humans in Dungeons and Dragons have to fucking they have a short lifespan, so they have to get shit done. But like the fact that Wonder Woman holds a candle for Stephen Trevor so long and she doesn't find anyone else is just fucking stupid. Because honestly, I think Wonder Woman would have been like, he was part of my life and I loved him. I will always hold him in my heart, but I will move on and cherish others. That's basically Wonder Woman's shtick. I don't think she would have held for this guy. It's just fucking silly. And even more so, I know it's a hard choice for Wonder Woman to make to let go of him, but ultimately she would have known what the right choice was. And she did. A lot of people were really also pissed off with the first 15, 20 minutes or so this movie being in Themyscira with this race, but I didn't mind. I thought it was fine. On the whole, though, I liked Wonder Woman 1984. I thought it was a little slow in the middle, and I would have liked a little bit more at cheat at the end. But for the most part, the themes, the concept, and the stories were all relatively good. Actually, my only major complaint, other than being a little slow in the middle, the fact that it being set in the 80s was more of a backdrop than actually a theme. I was hoping we were gonna go full Stranger Things on this and fucking see everything and make it purple rain all over this place. But we didn't. It was just more or less a backdrop with a little bit of flavor in there. It wasn't really used that much to full effect of the story. Um, Sorry, that was a fucking protein shake coming back up. I made a tier list over on my Twitter account. If you go over to Twitter, you can see it, of my tier list of all the DC live action movies, as well as all the Marvel ones on a separate post. And mind you, this list didn't have 1984 on it because it was not an option at the time. So, but if I had to say between S, A, B, C, D tiers, this is a solid B movie. It was fun. It was enjoyable. It wasn't as good as the last one, but for what it was, I enjoyed it for what it was. And people look into things way too much. Let's just get our heads out of our asses about everything political. Let's just enjoy Wonder Woman fucking fighting a cheetah lady. That's all I really want from these movies. And that goes towards everything when it comes down to movies. Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Star Trek. Stop making everything political and stop putting people fucking political thoughts into it, whether it's left or right. I don't give a shit. I go to watch fucking shit about big, powerful superhumans beating the fuck out of big, power supervillains. That's all I care about. I don't need people's political opinions on shit. And more importantly, when people watch something, I don't need them to abstractly pull their political opinions on something that has nothing to do with political opinions. I really don't give a fuck. Oh my god, jeez. Fucking A. Sorry. I had to rant. I had to get off my chest. Just the world is getting so divided and so cuckoo for cocoa puffs, and people are just not fucking thinking. That's the biggest problem. But like I said, on a whole, I think 1984 was a B movie. It was solid through and through. Had its few problems here and there. Acting was relatively good. I think all the people brought their A game. I think Gal Gadot does a very good job at Wonder Woman. I am looking forward to the next film. And here's my pitch for the next film. If they do the next Wonder Woman film, obviously a shoe in, I would want them to do Cersei as a villain. But really, they should do either Grail, which is Darkseid's daughter within Amazon, or the Firstborn, which was the first child of Zeus. Either of those two, I would be Gucci with. 100%. But anyways, that's just me ranting. I'm gonna end this here. I would like to know your thoughts and opinions. And as always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Cutter Inc. You can follow me on Instagram at Andrew Cutter Inc. And you can also find me for my D&D art on Instagram at Andrew D&D art. I think it is. I don't know. The links are down below. Our first wave of new clothes for our clothing line is out. It is awesome. If you love pop culture and you love working out, check it out. We have everything from Witcher to The Flash to everything in between. It's all good stuff. We're working on our wave two of our clothing line. So the link is down below at TeeSpring with at TFandom. Check it out. I'm gonna actually be picking up some of the shirts and wearing them in some of my next videos. And it's been a labor of love, but I really enjoy this clothing line that we're getting out there. So please check it out. Of course, I'm over at TikTok. If you want to go look at me at TikTok at Andrew Cutter, I think it's Andrew Cutter Inc. Again, links are down below. Where I talk mostly Dungeons and Dragons and weightlifting, and then finally, last and not certainly not least, we have our podcast that my friend and I are doing. My friend Connor from OK Fave. We're doing the World of Fandom podcast. We just did our season finale a few weeks ago, where we talked about Luke Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and a bunch of other stuff. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna start our next episode for 2021. So, yeah. With everything that's crazy going on in the world right now, with pandemics, political uprees, and just generally 2020 sucking. I hope everyone out there stays safe. I hope everyone has a good 2021. I hope all you guys stay healthy. Please, please, please do stay healthy. We have to stick in these fucking times, people. We can't be divided. Let's stick together. We are all stronger together. That's the most important thing. So, thank you again for watching this video. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.